Hey guys, this is Rand from Mozaik UW Cameras, and this is the second day of the Redive project, where we are encouraging photographers from all over the world to share their amazing photos of different marine life, and we have a different subject every day. So today on the second day, our daily theme is sharks. And just like every day, I will be sharing with you my personal tips on how to get better photos of the daily subject. And in the end, we will take all of these tips and put them all together into one ultimate guide to shooting marine life that's going to be on our blog at Mozaik Underwater Cameras. So as I said, today the daily theme is sharks, and let's get right on to the tips. So my first tip would be, first of all, do your research. And this is a cool zebra shark, which is sometimes referred to as a leopard shark. And really shooting sharks is simply all about knowing how the specific species interacts with divers, whether or not they're dangerous, whether or not, what's their aggressive behavior. So all sorts of little things that if you know, you will be able to get much better photos of that specific shark species. And also you will know what to, be careful of, when to feel more comfortable. So the easiest sharks to take photos of is actually a nurse shark, because first of all, nurse sharks, you can find them in quite a lot of different places. And also nurse sharks are very docile. They're very, they're very friendly. They don't get scared away that easily from divers. Usually they just cruise along the reef and they don't mind us divers at all. So they would get actually really close to us. And sometimes you can find them, if they're not cruising along the reef, you can find them on the bottom, on a sandy bottom, and you can get really, really close to them without bothering them at all, as long as you stay calm. Try not to scare them away, just because then you're gonna ruin it for everybody, or for your dive buddy and for yourself, if everybody wants to take pictures of it. So silky sharks, silky sharks are one of my favorite sharks. And when you go to places, for example, like Gardens of the Queen in Cuba, then they're swimming right at the surface. And especially if somebody's chumming the water, which some of the operators would do. And they're very friendly. They might even be too friendly. They might even bump into you. But first of all, they're beautiful sharks. Their skin is very reflective, and they're simply, they look silky. So they're simply very pretty, and they're very, very easy to take photos of because they're so friendly and they would get very close to you. So I definitely recommend, going to a place that allows you to get in the water with silky sharks, and you're gonna get some really good shots. Now, this is a very important tip. When you're shooting sharks and they don't want to get that close to you, which I know sometimes happens quite a bit, then instead of trying to shoot the shark and getting, kind of not so good, mediocre shot of a shark in the distance, what you really want to be doing is look for a nice subject in the foreground, right? So look for a piece of coral, look for a sponge, look for anything that is, interesting and colorful, and simply position the sharks in the background with your composition. So that way you don't have to have the shark that big in the frame, but as long as you have it in the frame in the background, the photo automatically becomes much better, and you don't have to get that close to the shark. And this is something that actually works with other, big animals such as manta rays or eel rays or any other, or even turtles. This is a great technique that you can always use. Now, I do recommend experimenting with different lenses, because a lot of people would simply use a wide angle lens for a shark. But actually, when you shoot a photo like this, which is kind of a medium shot, of a shark, kind of a fish portrait of a shark, then you're really able to get, the facial expression much better, and the viewers can connect with the shark much better than when viewing it from a distance. So definitely do experiment with different lenses. You might even get just a macro shot of the eye, which could be super cool if you have a macro lens on. So don't be afraid to use different lenses. My next tip is about whale sharks. So first of all, get in the water with them. I mean, they're incredible. They're simply amazing creatures. And one of, some of the best places in the world to get in the water with them would be like Mexico, when they come every year from June till September. Ningaloo Reef in Western Australia is also a great place for whale sharks. Galapagos Islands. So there are a bunch of different places where you can go and really, get in the water with these amazing giant fish. And once you're in the water with them, what you want to do is, first of all, try to keep up, because they're pretty fast. They look big and slow, but they're pretty fast. And you want to try and keep up. You don't want to scare them away, but you want to keep up with them and try to get that nice angle from the front, try to get the mouth open. Maybe if you're lucky enough to get the bottle position, that's also super cool. But if you're stuck behind them and you simply couldn't swim fast enough, you can also get a really nice shot of their tail, because they have a really impressive tail and looks amazing. And then my last tip is, of course, try to be safe. Remember that sharks are still wild animals. While humans are not, their main food source, some of them, such as great whites, such as bull sharks, makos, even tiger sharks, they can be a little bit aggressive. And you really want to learn how to recognize that aggressive behavior. And you want to try and avoid it, and kind of step back when that happens. And also try not to keep your back to them. Try to always face forward. Try to stay in a big group, so that, because if you're singled out, it might be a little bit risky depending on the shark species. In general, shark diving is very safe, right? There are very, very few accidents. People like to compare it to how many accidents there are with vending machines, and more people die from vending machines every year than from sharks. So, I mean, it is safe, but of course, just like any other wild animal, you have to be alert. And that is it. So if you want to join the Redive project, simply post your best photos of sharks today, and then continue following the daily theme on UW Cameras, which is our Instagram account, and simply tag the photos with the hashtag Redive project by Underwater Cameras, Mozaik Underwater Cameras. So I'll see you tomorrow, and until then, enjoy.